Rev up your engines!
Well, if you're worried about buying a new car and it's going to be more expensive in the future because of tariffs, well, here's some that might be affected. One, Chevrolet. Now, the Equinox and Equinox EVs are all made in Mexico. Those are the biggest models they build in Mexico. If they do have a tariff, of course, the price of the cars would go up, right? Also, Honda, you may not know it, has manufacturing plants in Japan, several in Canada, and several in Mexico. So if they do have tariffs, guess what? Your Honda CR-V is going to cost more. Now, you would have to pick and choose what you were buying because, of course, Honda has been making cars for decades in Ohio. They've made, 5-7 million Accords, some ridiculous number in Ohio that were well made. That wouldn't be affected by the tariffs at all, right? Dodge. Out of the 3 models that Dodge had, only one's made in the U.S. The other 2 are made in Mexico and Canada. So if they have a tariff, hey, not that I'd advise you to buy a Dodge anyway. They're only piles of junk. And, of course, their Dodge Hornet is just a rebadged Alfa Romeo that's made in Italy. Who knows if they'll put any tariffs on that? Who really cares? Who buys Italian cars anyways but fools? They're not well made. They fall apart. They're expensive to fix. And Chrysler, of course, they might be without a paddle because all their minivans are made in Canada, in Windsor, Ontario, across the river from Detroit. And of course, Ford, they'd be affected too, because if you're going to buy a Maverick, a Bronco Sport, those are all made in Mexico. And of course, the Mustang Mach-E electric vehicle is made in Mexico. Now, theirs are really selling poorly. I've only ever seen 2 of them going down the road on the highway, and it turns out they were the same one. It was in Providence, Rhode Island. We were going to dinner, and I noticed, okay, there it is. Mach-E, so I took a picture of it. And then months later, I saw another Mach-E outside of Providence. Took a picture of it. Same license plate. It was the same car. They can't give away those. So those are things you'd have to be worried about buying if the tariffs come. Who knows what's actually going to happen? There's so much interaction and bluffing going on there. But hey, if you're worried about that, you might buy one now. Although most of these models I wouldn't even buy in the first place. Toyota is now teasing an electric truck. They're saying they're going to be making an electric truck, also electric SUV. They say it's going to be 2026. There's no real concrete things out yet. For instance, they don't even know, is it going to be based on like a Hilux that already exists and have it electrified like Ford did with the F-150 Lightning? They based it on basically the F-150 and they electrified it, and it was a massive failure. And then Ford said, we're going to redesign the whole thing, and now they're saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Now Toyota's saying they're going to make one. Now, who knows what that means? Because although Toyota sold over 1 million what they called electrified vehicles in the U.S. last year, of that, only 28,000 were fully electric battery cars. So you got like 1,006,000 electrified cars, but only 28,000 of them were fully electric cars. So, they can take their time, go really slow about it. Maybe they will make an electric pickup and they'll make a handful of them. Their sellers are hybrids. That's what people are buying. So basically, almost all of the electrified vehicles that Toyota sold in the United States, over 1 million, were hybrid cars, not battery electrics. Realize that. Toyota's taking it really slow with fully electric battery-powered cars. They're not stupid. I think they made a wise move there. Unless maybe they will have a breakthrough with solid-state batteries. They claim in 2 or 3 years they'll have those up. Well, if they do, then it would be a gradual buildup like everything else. Look at Honda. They started by making 2-cylinder motorcycle engine cars in the United States, and they build up, and then over decades, wham, they're selling all kinds of cars. So, Japanese seem to have more sense. Start slow, test the water, see what people want, and go from there. Well, anybody with a bit of common sense knows electric cars have problems. Well, Mercedes has a very interesting recall for their electric car. They are recalling their EQE SUV electric sedan because what they call is the wheel rim inserts may detach. In other words, the wheel can fall off the car. The way they built them, wheels are cast, made from different pieces, and it turns out that they can come apart. Now, two things make this extremely hilarious because most people don't own these things anyway. They only sold a handful of them. Mercedes having a hard time selling their electric cars. Luxury car people aren't into that yet. They want convenience, gasoline, diesel. They don't want to be waiting in line. Oh, I say, I can't wait in line to charge my car. Ooh. All right? One, they're electric cars, so they have a lot of torque, right? A lot of power. Well, guess what? The power is making the wheels break. If you remember what happened to the first Corvette, mid-engine, whatever you want to call it, the wheels were all breaking because they made the wheels wrong. Instead of making them forged wheels, they made them cast. And these Mercedes wheels are cast wheels. So that's one funny part. The other funny part is, in 2024, they told the dealers, change those wheels out, they're bad. So they changed those wheels out on these vehicles. But the wheels that they used to change them out for were crap too, and they're breaking. In November 2024, vehicles outside the United States had all their potentially affected wheels replaced before they sold the vehicles. But unfortunately, using bad wheels then too. They were using bad wheels for the replacement wheels and they broke. Now, as per usual, they give them a month to warn people about it. So if you own one of these electric Mercedes, there aren't too many of you out there, right? They didn't sell them in the United States. If you are, better watch out. You step on that gas, the wheels may fly off. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, these electric vehicles, they're not ready for prime time, right? Come on. Well, I was reading a science article, and it was fascinating. They called it Debunking the Myth. Hydrogen isn't really a clean burning fuel. Put out the idea, well, hydrogen burns better than gasoline, doesn't pollute as much, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't put as much carbon dioxide out, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's one big old problem for burning hydrogen. Now, I'm not talking about using hydrogen in fuel cells, turning the hydrogen into electricity and a little bit of water vapor and a little bit of heat. But I'm talking about people fueling the cars with hydrogen. Sure, you'd have to have the gas all compressed. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It would be a real hassle. But they're always trying to push it as burning hydrogen is cleaner. Well, people, if you know anything about physics, as the scientists did, hydrogen burns at an extremely high temperature. You know what happens when you burn at a high temperature? You create oxides of nitrogen, NOx, causes cancer. And it also turns out that if hydrogen leaks, which of course it'll always leak as a gas, that it helps make the ozone layer even worse. Some reaction it has with methane and stuff. So this myth of cleaning up the world by burning hydrogen has been shown to be just that. It creates pollution, just like anything else. It would be stupid to switch from gasoline to hydrogen. All the money was spent, all that. The only way it would make sense would be not burning hydrogen, but using it in hydrogen fuel cells. But those things are expensive. There's no proof that they can be used in a car for long, long periods of time. The membranes in the fuel cells wear down over time, then they got to be repaired. So I doubt if hydrogen fuel cells cars are going to be much in the future. Yeah, Toyota had that one in California. They didn't sell that many. And then Shell, who was providing hydrogen gas stations, they turned them all, shut them all down, said, this isn't working out. So I doubt if hydrogen's going to be much of a fuel that anybody's going to use for conventional transportation. Maybe trucking firms, right? They could have their own supplies at their own terminals. And if the government subsidizes it to pollute less, I could see that. But straight up, using hydrogen as it stands today is foolish. Well, the energy world looks like Finland is doing what the U.S. tried and failed because of all kinds of government nonsense and people screaming and yelling. Finland now says they found forever homes for nuclear waste from power plants, right? Now, if you remember, they tried building that giant under-the-mountain one in the United States, and they spent a ton of money on it, and they never used it. People are whining. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. This waste is extremely tiny in terms of space. The amount of spent nuclear fuel in the United States as it stands today would fill only half of a football field. It's not that big of an area. And the Finns are saying, hey, we're going to make places you can store it. Posiva ore. You might look it up, check it out. It's going to be deep underground, and they're going to store the waste. Now, they've been working on this site since 2004. They've been working on it for 21 years. And now they hope to do permanent disposal in less than a year. All that stuff is doable. It's not that large of an area. Disposing stuff in a small area it's not going to make all that much difference. They have ways to seal the radioactivity in, stick it down there. It'll be so far underground. Well, a lot of people don't understand about radiation is it only goes so far. Strangely enough, where I grew up, between Lewiston, New York and Youngstown, there is one of the biggest waste facilities that they had from World War II and after, from the atomic bombs and stuff. And it's got a big barbed wire fence around it. And it's full of really deadly radioactive stuff. You get a guided counter. I got a guided counter stuck by the fence. You don't get nothing. This thing's, in the middle of a field somewhere. So, and that's relatively close to it, right? Measured. Now, if you climbed inside, I'm sure it'd click like that. But it dissipates rather quickly, distance-wise. Sure, it lasts for a really long time, but it doesn't cover all that much. And the Finns are realizing this. And they're going to have their disposal thing ready, they said, within a year. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.